But you gotta help me with something I'm a little confused about. On the way over here today, I heard certain commentators and certain leaders of certain houses of certain representatives say that these gatherings nationwide were A, the rich, B, the fat cats, and C, the running dogs of some think tank I've never heard of in my life. Now, looking out at the crowds, you don't look like fat cats to me. Some of you look like maybe you've been working your whole lives. Maybe you spent a hell of a long time without 2 dimes to rub together. And you kept working, and sometimes you screwed up. And you got punched in the mouth, and you didn't even think to say to the government, "Can you bail me out, please?" You kept working. You acted like an American. And you know, it just again, of course I'm easily confused, but that tells me we have a job to do in our neighborhoods, in our places of work, amongst our friends, lovers, and fellow countrymen. And that's to tell them, honestly and sincerely, what we believe, without shame, without being made to feel like a radical. The great thinker and writer Thomas Sowell said, much of the social history of the Western world, especially over the last 3 decades, has been a history of replacing what works with what sounds good. Abandon the principles of America at your peril. Small government is not one of several competing ideologies. It's what the entire Constitution was written to make.
It's time we and our kids and their kids can look forward to prosperity versus a mountain of debt. It is time for a tax revolt. Some of you drove in from Rancho Cordova. Some of you drove in from Placerville, El Dorado. You came in on Highway 50. You saw the big buildings out there when you came in. That's the franchise tax board. Tonight they open envelopes and they celebrate. Every big fat check they get, their party hats come out. And it's our money and they celebrate. It's time for a tax revolt. All right, folks, here you go. Say it loud and let them hear you. It's time for a tax revolt.
The silent majority is no longer silent. We are stirring, we are awakening, we are many, we are Americans. And for the latest generation of Americans who've been called upon to defend our liberties and the constitutional principles of limited government that protect our freedom. Think about how far we have strayed from what Jefferson once called the sum total of all good government. This is what he said: a wise and frugal government which shall restrain men from injuring one another, shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. Ladies and gentlemen, sometime along the way, we lost that country. Don't you think it's time we went and got it back? Our opponents try to portray us, and I'll put this as politely as I can, as an angry mob. No, we're not an angry mob. We are resolute Americans. And today we here highly resolve that the liberties defended on far-off battlefields by 10 generations of American patriots and heroes will not be casually thrown away here at home, not on our generation's watch. We're here today because as a people, we're awakening to the danger of a government that spends too much and borrows too much and taxes too much, because we know what that means. We know that you can't spend your way rich. We know that you can't borrow your way out of debt. And we know that you can't tax your way to prosperity. That $13 billion tax increase that they just forced on our families, that's the biggest tax increase by any state government in American history. And we remember what happened the last time they did that, because we did not vote them out. We remember what happened when people imposed a $7 billion tax increase. While the national economy expanded, Wilson's tax increases broke the back of California's economy. They produced the biggest plunge in retail sales in 30 years, and then they produced 2 consecutive years of billion-dollar-a-year declines in state revenue while the rest of the nation prospered. That was what a $7 billion tax increase did. Can you imagine what this $13 billion tax increase will do in the most difficult recession in a generation? Because we didn't vote them out, the Census Bureau now tells us that an unprecedented number of Californians are fleeing our beautiful state to the other 49 states. Now let me ask you this question. If we allow these same policies to destroy our country, where will we go? The Obama budget relies on the biggest tax increase by the federal government in our nation's history, backbreaking new taxes on small businesses, on investment, on energy production, on charitable donations. And this is not complicated stuff. If you increase taxes on productivity, you get less productivity. If you increase taxes on energy production, you get less energy. If you increase taxes on charitable giving, you get less charitable giving. If you increase taxes on investment, you get less jobs. Don't they understand this? Because we did not vote them out, they are now poised to literally take this nation's debt, double it in 5 years, and triple it in 10. That's what the budget just introduced by the Obama administration would do. Let me repeat that so that it sinks in. All of the debt that our country has accumulated from the first day of the George Washington administration to the last day of the George W. Bush administration will be doubled in 5 years under this budget and tripled in 10 years. Folks, we've watched how too much spending, too much borrowing, and too much taxing has wrecked our state of California. We're now watching it threaten to ruin our country, and we have had enough.
I love that song. Oh, Pelosi looks wonderful there.
Yeah, it's a good picture of
Our
her.
opponents expect that we're going to vent our frustration.
Good for you, man. Good job.
and go home.
Tea bag.
The tea bag, the human tea bag. All right.
Yeah.